This is hard. Okay. um, okay, so growing up in my house, I never actually felt that like I was a part of my family. I like really represented my father. I looked identical to him. My family, my father and mother got divorced when I was 6. So my mom always, would like insult like my father. I always felt that she's insulting me because I looked identical to him. But mainly it was just my sister. A lot of the time, not a lot of the time, all the time, like it started when I was 2, she would pick on me, torture me. There's some funny parts. She would like shaved my head. She like would like take things from me, and like every single day when I was younger would say, "Why are you my sister? Like, why are you here? Why are you ugly? Why are you fat?" And we all look different.
My relationship with Alana growing up was unique, I would say, because we didn't really get along all the time. I was kind of, I guess, mean to her growing up. I would pick on her about a bunch of different things, but I guess it's something that I thought was normal for like an older sister or sibling to do. I mainly picked on her, just, I guess really for anything, but more so, I guess, her weight. She was a little chubbier than I was as a child. I was a little bit more athletic and more, wanting to just always go. And sometimes she would just want to stay in the house and play with her toys, where I would rather be outside.
As I got older, obviously my body shape was different than my sister, and I guess I looked different than her, and my sister always programmed into my head. I almost felt like a robot when I started getting older, but when I was younger, my sister programmed in my head to be like her and to be perfect, and if I'm not the way my sister wants me to be, then I'm not doing my job. And my mom never ever told my sister, "Don't talk to your sister like that, don't tell her these things." Never.
No one really, I guess, properly reprimanded me for what I was doing. Kind of just said, like, don't do that, but there was never really any real punishment for it. It was just kind of frowned upon, but like I said, it was never reprimanded for it.
I think Alana always was looking for true love, unconditional love from her sister. She just Alana wanted her sister Alexa to accept her for what she was, what she looked like, and just the fact that she was her sister, and just love her for that. That really never flourished, that relationship between them, until I think, until Alana got sick and Alexa and Alana verbalized what brought her to that point and how she felt about the way we all treated her.
You really never made me feel like I belonged in my family. When I was growing up, my extended family, not my father's side, my mother's side, any family function we were at, I was non-existent. I would just sit there, and my mom had to force them to talk to me. Like, no, but I'd be like, "Oh, Alexa's so good in soccer. By the way, everybody say hi to Alana." Like, it shouldn't, and it should never have to be that way.
I don't think that what Alana went through started 3 years ago. I think that it started when she was in middle school, and it was not properly addressed or anything. It was just, she just stopped eating, and everybody was just like, "Oh, she's losing her baby weight." But no. I mean, yes, that was how she was losing weight, But, you know, I think it was more than that, and I don't think that, you know, my mom, being a single mom, or me, or really anybody in the family knew kind of what was going on and what that really meant. She never really talked about it.
Alana kept a lot of things in, and she internalized. And I guess what led her to her eating disorder was the fact that she was a voice and a face that was never heard and never seen for who she really was. I never thought ever that would happen to Alana. However, in the 6th grade, Alana did experience a very slight eating disorder. And I mentioned it to my pediatrician, who at that time said to me, oh no, you know, just give her some vitamins and, you know, try to get her to eat a little bit more healthy, and don't worry, she'll totally grow out of it. Big mistake on the part of me being the parent. First of all, I didn't do a good job in nipping it in the bud initially from the beginning when her sister was ripping her apart. And I should have been more proactive when my pediatrician told me, oh, she'll outgrow it. I should have taken her for counseling then. I should have found out what was really eating away inside of her that started her on this path.
My unwritten job is supposed to be to take care of her and make sure nothing happens. And I clearly failed at that. You know, I guess I wasn't a good big sister. You know, I don't even know if I am now. I hope I'm a little better, but I guess that's open for determination.
It was abuse, and what was more abusive is that my mom never stuck up for her daughter. I never felt like my mom had my back up until now. And I think it took my mom to see her losing her daughter. Okay, maybe I should start acting like a parent to her, acting like I care, acting like a role model, telling her sister to stop when she's wrong and when she's saying something about her.
I feel like I was a horrible mother to Alana, watching my child starve themselves to death. And there wasn't a damn thing I could do about it. The more I pushed her to eat, the more she didn't eat. The more I said to her, don't go to the gym, don't exercise constantly. She exercised more. Called her on it. Actually, it was the day of her sister's graduation from college. We went to a restaurant, and all Alana did during her meal was twirl her food around her fork, put it up to her mouth, never eat it, put it back down. And I called her on it that night, and I said to her, you have an eating disorder. And she screamed at me, cursed at me, yelled at me, no I don't, no I don't, the hell with you. I really saw it. I think it started prior to that when she was away at Mercy College, because she had a food card, and when she would come home on the weekends, because she worked on the weekends, so I'd pick her up, or her grandfather would pick her up, and then we'd drive her back. She'd have always the same amount of money almost on the food card, but she'd bring snacks and stuff back with her. And I slowly said to myself, what is this kid eating if she's not eating and not utilizing the money on the food card? And that's when I think it really started to happen. She wasn't happy up at school there, and that was probably one of the worst things I could have done, was give in to her wanting to go away to be independent and whatever. And I think that really started things.
It was scary. I remember there was one day I came home and Alana was making, some food in the kitchen, I guess you can call it food. And she was measuring lettuce. And that was hard because lettuce is essentially water, especially romaine lettuce. Like the fact that she was standing there measuring lettuce. And then I remember, our family obviously doesn't handle situations great. There is really no way to handle what happened. But then I remember my mom, getting upset and maybe yelling at her. And she was so skinny. And she started shaking. Really like one of those like chihuahuas that you see that just shake because they're so afraid or frail. And that was hard. And I got when my mom was like, I don't think she was yelling. I think she was yelling because she was like angry about the situation and, you know, what was happening. But obviously that wasn't the best way to go about it, and I just remember that day vividly. And that was hard. When I did come around, she just would always be in her room or not there. So it's hard for me to try to even engage in that situation.
I prayed to God every single day that I wasn't going to lose her. I worked behind the scenes with all of her doctors, which she had no idea. I went to seminars. I met with doctors. I read books. I stayed in the library for hours on end. And I said to all of them, I can't lose her. I will fight her every step of the way. She would pass by me and she'd be making herself a salad in the kitchen, and every bone in her body would be out. And in the summertime, she'd lay outside in her bathing suit, and she had a bathing suit on, and I didn't even know the human body physically had that many bones. They all were out on her. She was laying on the lounge chair, and honestly, I couldn't look at her. I couldn't stand it. And then one night, I remember in the morning, she would get up early. She didn't get up this morning. And I said to my husband, you have to go in her room and you have to see if she's breathing, because I don't know. I don't know if she's alive or not in there, and I can't go in there and find her not breathing. He actually went in there with a spoon, turned it upside down and put it under her nose to see if there was any vapor on the spoon. And thank God she was breathing. And I think shortly after that, I think Alana looked at herself one day in the mirror and said, and I think she didn't realize how she looked and how many bones were just hanging out. And I think finally she said, what the hell am I doing? And I think that was her turning point.
I was just so mentally tired my whole life that I just shut off, you know, and for years I was just taking so many people's shit. And, you know, when I was 18, I said to myself, you know, I just got out of a relationship and I was at a college I hated. And I said to myself, you know what? I really don't feel like I want to be here anymore. You know, I was told it from such a young age that, like, why are you alive? You know, you were never meant to be here. What purpose do you have here? So I just shut my mouth. I stopped taking in people's shit. I stopped doing anything. And I was doing something that everybody else wanted me to do. I had like a routine where I went to summer class at Nassau and then went to Post. And I would measure out everything to a T. And if there was one flake in cereal that was off, I would redo the whole thing. I would eat salad with only 5 carrots. I measured my salad dressing, and that was the only thing I ate ever. I worked out from 7 in the morning when the gym first opened. I went to Lucille Roberts to maybe 9 o'clock at night, just nonstop taking classes. And their classes are hard. I used to hide. I remember I used to hide like oyster crackers in my house in case like I did get hungry. But I just kept thinking in my head, I was like, wait a minute, no, you're not supposed to do that. So I wouldn't. I got addicted to drinking green tea because that's supposed to speed up your metabolism. A former friend I had told me about this drug that people take in order to burn fat. And I was taking it. I had to order it on Amazon. And I was taking it, and I would just pass out at the gym and just tell everybody at the gym, although it's in their faces what's wrong. I would just be like, oh no, I didn't drink enough today. And I'm lying. I'm lying to everybody. You had to be blind not to see what was going on with me. So I never saw it. That's the thing. I was just kind of just going about my life, you know. I was doing just that, just what everybody wanted me to do. Finally, I was listening. Months are going into this, and Mom starts seeing that, you know, I think Alana's sick. And I think it was 4th of July. Yeah. My neighbor was having just like a mini barbecue with the girls, and I didn't even eat there. I told them my mom made me dinner. She never did. My mom wasn't even home. That next day, after the 4th of July, my mom and my stepfather Rick were sitting outside, and I could overhear my mom saying, I can't lose her. I can't lose her. If I lose her, I don't know what I'm gonna do. She's like my angel. And I was just so nasty. I felt like Satan was inside of me. I almost broke the door and got in my mom's face, and I started screaming at her for saying that. And I feel like I got so mad because I never heard that ever in my life from her. And if I did, it was in a card. It was written from Hallmark. It wasn't written from my mother. And I just was so nasty to everybody. And why? Because I just never felt... I just said to myself, why are you trying to reverse what you want me to do now? Well, because you're seeing, oh no, we're losing her. Maybe this is not what we want for her. I was only getting worse. And I didn't talk to anybody. I had my only best friend, Jen, who I've known for 12 years. Is the only one stood by my side, and she was like, I'm not gonna obviously lose you. Jen's really funny. She doesn't like to show emotion, but she's like, I will beat the shit out of you if you don't get help. So finally one night, I was in the shower. This had to be like end of July, early August. And I'm looking at myself, and I remember saying this out loud. I was like, I didn't even know those bones existed. I was sticking everywhere. I was 82 pounds, like soaking wet.
I think she thought that, hey, maybe if I change me, maybe if I stop eating and have this major thing happen in my life, that maybe they'll see me. But I don't think she realized an eating disorder, you don't control an eating disorder. An eating disorder controls you. And it's like a devil inside of you. You have, you're immobile. I mean, the eating disorder controls your every thought, your every move, what you do, who you see. Your personality totally changes. You become like an animal. Your body is fighting, like part of you saying, my God, what are you doing? And the other part is saying, keep going. Keep losing more weight. Keep going. I'm going to take over. I'm going to take control of you. And it's a vicious cycle. And I just thank God that Alana found the strength inside of herself to realize that I don't want to die. And I want to be heard. And I want to let people know in my family, especially me, her mother, and her sister, how much we hurt her. And then I did work behind the scenes very closely with Alana's primary care physician, and she shared with me that Alana was so bad with her eating disorder that her organs were actually shutting down. Her liver, she had severe liver damage, she had severe kidney damage, she also had some damage to her heart, and it was going to take a long time if we could possibly even get to the point where these organs could start regenerating themselves. At night sometimes, I would go by Alana's room or in her room just to check on her, and there would actually be such a strong smell of urine that since her kidneys and her liver was so bad, she couldn't even hold her urine in. That's how bad it got. But as time went on and she started to gain more weight and started to eat more things, she literally had to start all over from like a baby, taking baby steps and eating, the way you would feed a baby. She had to eat every 2 to 3 hours to start gaining weight and to have her body be able to hold that food in to give her strength. So, it was like a birth cycle all over again with her, including her body functions as well.
And so, I took the initiative of going to see a nutritionist that my stepdad Rick saw, and she knew exactly what was wrong with me. She just wanted me to say it. And I could never say it until I actually saw what was wrong with me. Even when I saw a specialist who was in the anorexia career field, I couldn't even speak to her about it. She worked with me to get me healthy. We had a food plan. I was so in tune with time. I had to be on a set schedule with food. I had to prep my own food. I had to get myself to where I am now. And we worked together for months. I want to say a year almost. Yeah, a year. I saw her, it used to be twice a week, and then we brought it down to once I started getting better. At first, when I started eating again, my metabolism was so fast because it wasn't used to having anything in the system that I started losing more weight, and that's just how the body works. I couldn't control that. One thing that's unfortunate about me starting to eat again is I had to go see my doctor twice a week. I think I was in therapy twice a week. I had 5 organ failures. Right when I started seeing Deborah, that was the nutritionist, I started noticing that I couldn't pee correctly. I couldn't go to the bathroom at all correctly. My heart felt weird, my insides always hurt, and I went to a doctor, got a bunch of blood work done to find out I had kidney failure, liver failure, my heart was failing, everything. So right before, I looked at myself and I said, wow, I didn't know those bones existed. I was like, wow, I think I may die. I think I'm not gonna live through this.
When Alana was in treatment, she was very, very verbally abusive. I mean, cursing left and right. She wrote me a 7-page letter, of which I still have to this day. And she said things to me that I did to her, or she felt about me, and how I raised her. And I guess she wrote it at the lowest point in her life, and she just wanted to get that dagger in there and really get to my heart, and she did.
I hope that Alana does know how much I do love her and care about her, even if I'm not great at necessarily showing it all the time. Clearly I wasn't growing up. I do think that I have a really big heart and I care a lot. And there is nothing I wouldn't do for her, and I would do anything to go back and change what happened. Because no one, especially my sister, should have to think and feel that way about themselves and put themselves through such torture to try to be, or try to think that they, be better than what they are. Meanwhile, what they are is absolutely perfect. And I love her.
I think Alana now is one of the, if not the most, one of the strongest people I know. She stands on her own 2 feet, firm on her ground. I know it's an expression they use in yoga, but it's true for Alana. She knows where she's going in life. She's very headstrong. She's determined. She is willing to do what it takes to get where she is. But what I mean by that is have her goals set at her own pace. She's not going to play second fiddle in life to anybody anymore. Anybody that she's going to stand up for herself, and she is going to be heard, and she's going to be a wonderful professional in her career. And I think she also wants to help people and let people know, hey, don't let anybody treat you less of an individual than what you are. And don't let anybody get inside of you and hurt you without verbalizing it at that point. Don't let it eat away at you. And sometimes through a tragedy, it can bring a family closer together. Because right now, Alana and I are probably best friends. We talk to each other about everything, and she knows that at the end of the day, nobody will ever love her like I do. And I'm very proud of her.